Well, you've seen so much in the game, haven't you, over the years? That was a great one for us to watch as neutrals. But for you, it must have been elation, frustration, elation, frustration.
Yeah, I thought we played very well. And it is very frustrating when you play as well as that. And in my opinion, do enough to win the game. Having taken the lead twice and created some very good scoring opportunities that we spurned. I think it's a little bit hard to take when it gets so close to the end of the game and you concede an equaliser. But the fact is, they're in a happy position, Bournemouth. They've got their contract for next year settled, basically. They could afford to throw players forward. They've got a riches on the bench in terms of forward players that we can only look at and envy. So as a result, you do know that in those final minutes you're going to be under a little bit of pressure. So it's important, of course, that you avoid any mistakes and that you take advantage of the fact they're sending so many players forward that you're going to have lots of opportunities to put the game beyond reach on the counter-attack. And that's basically how the game panned out. But unfortunately, we made the mistake and they got the goal and we didn't take the opportunities on the counter-attack to put the game to bed.
Opening the second half was fascinating for me. The first half was tight, wasn't it? But you seemed to come out really on the front foot at the start of the second half. What did you say to them at half-time?
Well, we didn't start the game quite as brightly as I wanted in the first 5 or 10 minutes, but I thought we did after that. I thought the first half was a very good performance. So at half-time, really, it was more a question of making certain that we continued doing the same things, and most importantly, we'll continue to have the confidence and the courage to pass the ball, because our midfield players are very good, and we did pass the ball well, I thought, and I knew that opportunities would present themselves with the type of front players that Wilf and Andros Townsend are. So really, in that respect, everything worked, pretty much according to plan, other than the fact that we conceded a couple of corners and let in a goal from them.
What a free kick by Milivojevic.
Yeah, it was wonderful. He played very, very well. It's his birthday today. But all the midfield players I thought were excellent.
And Zaha is such a talent. Roy, maybe over-elaborated a couple of times in the first half, but he's such a talent. Gets frustrated, scores wonderful goals.
Yeah, he's a great talent, and if we're going to survive and get the points we need in the next 5 games, we certainly need to keep Wilf fit and playing like he did today, because I thought that he was a constant menace, really, right from the offset. And even when it's not necessarily going his way, even when maybe a drag back doesn't come off or a dribble, the ball eludes him and maybe goes a yard or two too far for him to catch. If you're a defender playing against him, you'd be very, very worried, because you know the next time he produces that trick or that dribble, he's going to leave you behind and a goal chance is going to result.
You've seen enough positive signs today suggest that you will be okay. Townsend, very strong. Wan-Bissaki's 20 years of age. What a promise,
Well, we've been saying that for a long time now. That's the problem, and it's very, very important, I think, that the players are now going to need to show a great belief in themselves and take credit and pride in what they've actually been doing and the way they've been playing. But the most important thing of all, they have to be very strong mentally, because football is not a fair game. Football is not a game where you discuss justice and injustice. It is what it is, and things happen in the game, and all you can do is react to them. So we must be very careful that we don't start feeling that it's a bit unjust what's happened to us. We just got to make certain that we go out in every game and give the performances we did today, and then I'm quite confident that we'll get enough points in the next 5 games to keep us up.
On the bench alongside you today was a very emotional Ray Lewington, for obvious reasons. He's very close to Ray Wilkins. Well, what are you, from a former England man, from a football man as you are, from a decent man as you are, and another very, very decent man?
Yes, he was a great football person, Ray, a magnificent player, of course, to start off with, but when he stopped playing, his services to coaching, to management, his work on the mass media, everything I think has been absolutely top class. Everything about the man really has been top class, and it's a tragedy, I think, or a matter for extreme sadness that he's left us so young. And for someone like Ray, who grew up with him and they played together and started together, made their debuts together in the Chelsea team, it's been a very tough time. And of course, if anyone really wanted the best tributes to Ray, he would have been the best man to give them, because he knew him so well. But I knew him pretty well myself. I always admired him, always liked him very much, and I was deeply saddened by his death.